Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavati Paskatya Desatarini. Vrindavan is a state of consciousness. Wherever we go on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, we are taking Vrindavan with us. You may say, this is impossible for me, and this is quite true, but nothing is impossible for Srila Prabhupada, the Shakti Avesha Avatar, who has come to give his love to the whole world, and you are his representative. Whoever you are, from another Gaudiya mission or so, doesn't matter. Srila Prabhupada was the pioneer of preaching in the Western world, and in such an empowered way that we should follow and can follow his example to be successful. And that is one of the meanings why I give this series of talk, to make you successful and not forget that beautiful example of the first Vaishnava who went alone against the Western culture. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said once, Western culture has to be smashed. And Prabhupada went into that culture to establish Krishna consciousness. Amazing. Anyhow, we know that all Vaishnavas are empowered representatives of their Guru Dev, and Srila Vyasadeva is the original Guru Deva, but here we are following Srila Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Swami, because that is what he did in the Western world, established centers for Krishna consciousness everywhere. But not enough. That's why we are still doing this. No, Vrindavan is a state of consciousness, but where many people are conscious of Vrindavan, there's an intensified Vrindavan. And the Vrindavan in India where Krishna appeared, with the Braj Mandal, that is the most intensified Krishna consciousness. And where Lord Chaitanya appeared in Mayapur, in Gaur Mandala, it is another very intensified Krishna consciousness. And where Lord Chaitanya passed his last years in the ecstasy of union and separation, in the Rasa Yatras and all that, the Jagannath Puri Dham, the Sri Kshetra Dham, that is another very intensified Vrindavan consciousness. So, we are in the Western world and we want to do something. So we should not forget our connection to Sri Vrindavan, Sri Mayapur and Sri Purina. They are the famous places of pilgrimage. As a matter of fact, in the Gaudiya Math, it has been a strong tradition for preaching to take groups of people to the holy dhams, to the three main dhams, but sometimes they also have taken them to Jaipur, to Karoli, to where the original deities of the six Goswamis are, or even to Chardham Parikrama, to go to Badrinath and to Gangotri, Yamunotri, Kedarnath. Also there, devotees have been taken to Dwaraka, where Krishna spent his later time of his life. So going to holy places is a wonderful process of connection. You're connecting people to these holy destinations, and you connect them to be with Vaishnavas for 1 week, 2, 3, 4, 5. As long as the pilgrimage is, they have a full exposition to sadhana bhakti. They're getting up early, they're reciting the mantras with the respective preacher who takes the tour. This is very, very, very beneficial. Many people have become devotees on these tours. So we are establishing centers in the Western world, but we should try to take people to India or to our local Krishna conscious destinations, farms, to make them come so close to connect to the holy Dham and to the holy Vaishnavas. Because if you're visiting holy places only to take a bath, then this is called Saiva Gokara. This is a pilgrimage which is value of a cow. Cow may also go around there, but she may not know what's going on. Cow and an ass. So we want a more intensive pilgrimage than cow and an ass walking around. So we have to connect to the sadhus who chant the glories of the Lord. So now, let's say you live in South America. For many people, they're going to India and have this wonderful experience is practically impossible, financially. Of course, nothing is impossible for Krishna, but definitely it's difficult. So then you can make a visit to Varshana. You can make a visit to Gambhira. You can make a visit to the newly established ashram in Naimisharanya. You can visit the Vrindavan Hardin Ecologico. You can go to Ekotuli Park. You can go to places where the devotees have established Vrindavan with worship of Radha Krishna. Because you see, Holy Dham means always there's the Holy Lord. That is what makes a Holy Dham fully powerful. That the Supreme Lord Mahaprabhu Radha Krishna, they reside there and they're being worshipped with love by the devotees. So the Ishtadev there is very important. You see, when you are establishing a center for Krishna consciousness, you establish a deity in that location, which is another subject which we touch upon later. But this deity which you establish is the center of Vrindavan in your location. And the devotees will learn to worship their Ishtadev there. Ishtadev means Lord of my life. He's in charge of my life and I'm belonging to him. So it's a very much belonging process. I am not the controller, I'm not the owner. Krishna is the owner of mine. So in this way, there's a consciousness created. But Vrindavan is the original Krishna consciousness. So even if we cannot travel to Vrindavan physically, we can travel to it by traveling to our local holy place and be with the sadhus there and have the memory and sing Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan, Sigovinda Gopinath Madana Mohan, Keshigata Vangsivata Vadashikanan. Like this, you move your mind to the holy places by the songs, by the meditation, and in this way you feel very connected, like we owe so much to India. We owe so much to Sanatan Dharma. If you see the incredible Vedic culture which manifested in India, the unbelievable efforts made by devotees there for thousands and thousands of years to establish places of worship and to worship the Lord, like Venkateshwara, Govinda in Tirupati, which is already mentioned in the Shastra. That means the worship of this deity has been happening for thousands of years. And the Jagannath Mandir also. And many places also, like the deity of Guru Vayur, that was worshipped by Vasudeva and Devaki. Before Krishna's appearance, they were worshipping the Lord. I mean, if you hear that, if you think about that, you say, wow, this is a very, very important thing which the world has received from Bharatavarsha. And now, by the mercy of Prabhupada and by your endeavors, it's being taken somewhere else. But we should always remember the connection. We should always try to go to the big festivals, like Srila Prabhupada. He held so many big festivals in India, and many devotees came there from around the world, and they got intensively informed about Prabhupada's plans and everything when they were there. That is very wonderful. As I say, maybe it's possible to go there, maybe it's not. Maybe you can hold big festivals like we used to do in Peru, in Ekotuli Park, or as we used to do in Ekachakra, or we used in the farms in Ecuador, or we also went to the Titicaca Alaka Lake and went to the Sun Island and celebrated the great Vaishnava Union Festival, or in Varshala, or even in Caracas we had a great Vaishnava festival. So this is our attempt. This is our attempt to bring Krishna consciousness to the West. These big festivities, but there must be love and trust. Like now we're going to have a festival in Mexico for bringing Krishna consciousness intensively to Mexico, to the Radha Kunja Bihari Mandir. So there's many facilities for that. You see, a devotee, he will always try to establish a Krishna conscious center in the Western world. And all the things connected to this, that will be very favorable, very helpful for Krishna consciousness. So you see, when we go to Vrindavan, usually we take many pictures. And then we go home and we have Radha Madan Mohan, Keshigat, Gopidat Mad, we have Kushum Sarovar, we have Radha Kunda, Shama Kunda, picture of Govardhan. All these pictures, these visual helps, they take us to Vrindavan also. Then we have the holy names, which are taking us to Vrindavan. Then we have the songs, which also take us to Vrindavan. And then we have the Sadhu Sangha, where we talk and where we go to the holy places in our meditation. And we should not forget that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha Krishna in one person who appeared in Gupta, Vrindavan, Navadvip. So we are also very much connected with the holy place of Gupta, Vrindavan, Ishodhyan, the garden of Srimati Radharani, where the Janavi Kunja Gaudiya Mat and the Saraswati Kunja is situated. This is also for us very important. Of course, there's all the other great samadhis of Puri Maharaj, Madhava Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. All the great samadhis of the pure devotees, they have been established there. So wonderful. Unbelievable and wonderful. We cannot imagine how important all these things are. There's only one thing we can aspire for, and that is to take our mind out of this mundane world into the holy Dham. And the Mayapur Dham is the most helpful, because by the grace of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda, the Panchatattva mantra even does not accept any offenses. So even if you're wrong, if you're faulty, whatever you are, if you chanted Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda, your offering is going to be accepted. Just see. So, and then when you go to Mayapur, there's so many holy places in Mayapur. Brajmandal Parikrama, Gaur Mandal Parikrama, Kshetra Mandal Parikrama, they are full of places and holy persons to remember. Outstanding person in Puri is Haridas Thakur and his wonderful approach and service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When you go to our Mayapur Dham, there's Srivas Thakur, Advaita Bhavan, Gadada Angan, and of course Brajapatan, the place where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was chanting lakhs of names, preparing his Gaudiya mission for the world. It's amazing, really. But then again, there's 9 islands, so there's many other places to visit also. So, like our Madhusudan Maharaj, he has become a specialist in this, preparing. And last year, Haryana and group of devotees, they made an amazing parikrama, virtual parikrama of Vrindavan, because that was the time nobody could go to Vrindavan by the restrictions around the world. So when parikrama has taken many features. Now we even have a virtual parikrama. And this is so nice to hear about the stories, all the things Krishna did here, Mahaprabhu did there, the devotees in Jagannath Puri, what happened, the Gundicha Marjanam, the celebration of the big Rasa Yatra, which is celebrated yearly with great pomp and devotion, and all the devotees are there. Devotees are actually a great big family, even though they are divided in many branches which mostly don't even know of each other's existence. Still they are one family. And once you touch upon another devotee and you say, hey, how are you? Good. Oh, I have to offer business to Tulasi. Oh, you're worshipping Tulasi. I also worship Tulasi. Oh, by the way, Radha Govindaji in Jaipur, they're so wonderful. Oh, you also worship Radha Govindaji. You see, there's so many points in common in your sacred life. Then you will see, oh, he's my brother. You discover another God brother in another spiritual family. And that is what Vaishnavas are. They are one great family. Even if you meet I once met a Ramanuja Acharya, a very good friend of mine. He became, and I invited him to Vrindakuja, and then I asked him to give a class, and here he went, and he started giving a class, and he quoted the same Bhagavad Gita shlokas Prabhupada used to quote for preaching, and his preaching was so similar to what Prabhupada was giving us here. Why? Because we are one family. Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vishnu Swami, Nimbalkacharya, we all worship Radha Krishna. But by the divine grace, plan has been divided in so many schools. And you, when you open a center for Krishna consciousness in the Western world, you are opening a new branch of this school. A school to teach Krishna consciousness and parikrama and pilgrimages. That is part of the school's teachings. So therefore you should make it very important. You should have it on your wall. We are going to Vrindavan. We are going to Mayapur. We are going to our farm, and we have a 1 week parikrama there, and we're going to have many Vaishnava histories which are inspiring us on the path. Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj, when he was very old in his last day, he spent his time telling stories of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciples. And many of them, they're printed. So stories which never had been heard before this way, he gave us a chance to visit, because one thing is to visit the Holy Dham, the other thing is visiting the holy devotees who have served the Dham. Those who are the servants of the Dham, they also inspire us on the spiritual path. So it's a very broad-minded concept, pilgrimage. Any memory of any holy place, holy person, holy pastime, holy day, any type of memory of that in the association of devotees, in a reverential mood, or in a loving mood, in an enthusiastic mood, that is devotion proper. This is leading us to spontaneous loving attraction and being captured by Krishna in his world of love. So therefore, when you have your temple in the center, or you may only have a restaurant, but in the night you give classes there to the people. You can have different posters so that people who come, they will see Vrindavan. They will ask, where is Vrindavan? Oh, we belong to Vrindavan. This is where everything started. That's where Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago. Then another poster, visit Mayapur. We have in a program this or that time. Who's Mayapur? Oh, this is where Lord Chaitanya appeared. He started our movement. And you have a picture of Ayodhya. Oh, this is a temple which they're just making in Ayodhya, because this is where Lord Ram appeared and Sita, and they had the most beautiful Ramayana history. Like this, every temple. When you go to the Gaudiya Math in Delhi, you see that they are focusing on the Pandava pastimes. Pancha Pandava Gaudiya Math. So wherever we can focus on something, and we can focus everywhere on Prabhupada, our Gaudiya Mats, our temples, they're all in the spirit of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada or Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Wherever the inspiration flowing to you, there is no hard and fast rules. Maybe you get your main inspiration from Srila Puri Maharaj. Maybe you get your main inspiration from Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Maybe you get your main inspiration from Bhakti Daita Madhava Maharaj. Maybe you get your main inspiration from Bhakti Vilas Tirtha Maharaj. Maybe you get your main inspiration from Bhakti Kevalodolomi Maharaj. But still it is all Prabhupada's inspiration. That's my point. We are the Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha, and when people, like for example, when there's the Braj Mandal Parikrama, then one group of one mission is coming. They're coming by your temple. Will they go inside and offer their obeisances there? Yes. If they have a positive relationship, they will definitely go offer their obeisance, because your temple has become an expansion of the original temple. In other words, people, of course, nowadays it's difficult because you cross the river from Godrum or from Navadvip coming to Mayapur to visit the holy places, and there's now 100 temples. So how can you take 100 times darshan? But the major ones, the principal one, you will go inside. And that is a way of showing love and respect. I remember that we were there in Mayapur with Prabhupada having class while a group from another temple was coming in having a big kirtan while the class was going on. And we were thinking, why they're disturbing our class? But no, Prabhupada was overjoyed that they came in to offer their respect, because you come into the temple, you say, we are chanting with you the holy name. This is Mahaprabhu's Leela, this is Mahaprabhu's unending family expanding. So these are things which are very important. Therefore, when you visit another temple, always go offer your obeisances to the local devotees. Do not think that your mission is better than their mission. This is not a good thought. Always think, oh, my family is also here. Look what Bhaktivinoda Thakur said. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, when I go into a church, when I go into a mosque, or into a mezquita, into how's a Jewish synagogue. If I go in a synagogue, I'm looking, they are worshipping my Lord in so many wonderful ways. Look at these beautiful things they're doing for them. Now my desire to worship my Lord even more is increasing. Not that you're envious, angry. No, you say you take inspiration from it. So what to speak if you visit another Vaishnava temple, another Gaudiya Vaishnava, whoever, you should only think positive and take the good things. I mean, if you want to take good inspirations, you go to the temples in South India, you see this incredible Nishinga mandirs there. Oh my God, how incredible. They have made temples with so much dedication, with so much art. It's unbelievable how these things were done thousands of years ago. No machinery, no high tech, only bhakti, only skills to offer to Krishna. So we belong to a wonderful culture. If you don't know that, just look what the Bharatavarsha has to offer. What is there? It is unbelievable. There's no other place in the world. I mean, okay, the pyramids, they are interesting constructions. They have some interesting technology, but in the end of the day, it's just a pyramid with a lot of rocks in it. But in India, every rock is carved. Every rock has a story to tell. Angkor Wat, the greatest temple in the history of Lord Vishnu's worship. Wow, if you see Angkor Wat, and that's been constructed over 1,000 years ago, you just have to go, my Lord, you are great. Greatest and greater and the greatest. But he doesn't want to be great. He wants to be appreciated in his sweet Vrindavan pastime. He wants to be sweet, sweeter, and the sweetest. Madhuram, 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 Bhakti, in a very special feature. Look, the temples of South India, they're very rich, very, very opulent for thousands of years. They could have gone around the world and sent their preachers and established temples around the world with their finances. Would have been no difficulty for them, at least not financial difficulties, but they had other difficulties. For example, they didn't have that generosity that the whole world can become Krishna conscious. They didn't have the generosity of preaching to people in the Western world to follow the principles and to take initiation, and then to take initiation again and become Brahmins, and then to take initiations again and become sannyasis. No, 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 no. They do not have that liberty, even for their local people, if they're not born in Brahmana families and things like that. It's a very restricted. The opulence of the generosity is very restricted there. Or actually, it's not very generous, if you want to put it that way. So, when Prabhupada went to the West, he went with $8 in his pocket. No money. He just got a ticket donated to him. He didn't know what to expect. He didn't know what to do. He only knew one thing: my Guru, my Krishna has a plan there, so I'm going for that plan. He actually wrote in his poem, I have no business in this horrible Western world, but my Lord, you must have some business here. That's why you have sent me, because I am your surrendered servant. I have no other thing to do here. And so make me dance as you wish me to dance. My dear Srila Prabhupada, make me dance as you wish me to dance. That is the only desire, the only prayer I have. So therefore, it's very important to understand that Krishna consciousness came to Western world in a humble way. Not, hey, we are the big Krishna devotees. Here we have $1 million. We make the big $1 million temple in the Western world. No, not. The first temple in Bogota was in a garage, where 6 devotees were sleeping one next to each other in a garage. And in many other places in Germany, we were living in an occupied house, which had been declared non-livable by the government. So the Krishna consciousness started in so many humble efforts. It is uncountable histories how it went everywhere. And of course, after some time, some people came, some people a little bit established, somebody gave a little land, somebody. In the end, Krishna consciousness became what it is, quite a beautiful, opulent movement. And yes, this opulent movement will keep growing, but we should remain humble like Prabhupada was when he came. We should not forget, because opulence, or where there's great amount of wealth, people become usually proud and there's lots of envy. So in a way, it's not very favorable for the people to appreciate. Anyhow, Krishna is the supreme controller. He knows how to manage that. And we are just trying to humbly organize parikramas to our temples. When I go out in the street and I preach to the people, come to the temple, that is their first parikrama. Their move from wherever they are to the temple, to come into, take off their shoes, offer their respect or see what's going on. This is the first parikrama. Going daily to the temple is also a parikrama. Many of the temples in India, especially the farms, they have little parikramas. That after the artik, they sing Jaya Radha, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan, and they walk around the samadhi areas. Some have Radha Kunda, Shama Kunda replicas, Govardhan replicas, Gopeshwar Mahadeva replicas, and they go around them, and then Tulsi Parikrama. Parikrama is just, it's a great occupation. It's a great way of becoming connected. Parikrama means connected. You say, can you please come to our temple? Where's your temple? Here's the address. We wait for you. What do you mean you wait for me? Yes, we have a Sunday feast. We have wonderful food, very nice prasadam offered to Krishna. Really? How much does it cost? No, it doesn't cost anything. You just come, sit down, sing and eat with us, and you enjoy this beautiful festival. Really? You have free food there? How's that? Steve Jobs, I mean, that's a story. He said himself that when he was a student in university, a poor boy, in order to get a meal, a good meal in a week, he walked all over Seattle to reach the Hare Krishna temple Sunday feast program to get a good meal into his stomach because he was a poor student. That's Steve Jobs. What to say, no? The Hare Krishna or the vegetarian movement also started in this Sunday feast programs of Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada influenced the world. Prabhupada was the cause of Russia turning around from the previous communistic dictatorship and to what it is now, where there's devotees everywhere. Come on, Krishna consciousness is very powerful, but it goes all underground. The growing of Krishna consciousness goes underground. Sometimes it comes up, somebody like you, and say, I will open a temple for Krishna consciousness in this city, in that city, here, there. But otherwise, the waves of mercy of Mahaprabhu, they're spreading everywhere underground. And we are surprised. We don't know. Even though we see suffering in this world is so big and so much ignorance and so much injustice going on. But we are in the golden age of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So something is going on, you know. Something is under the ground where Lord Chaitanya's movement is spreading. And eventually we know, like, I'm very happy about Krishna consciousness, but I'm not very happy about the world I'm inside right now. It's a pretty hellish place, and there's so much lies in the press and the governments, and they all seem to be serving the multinational interests of companies, of some greedy people. I don't know. I don't want to be part of this world. Good. Come to Krishna consciousness, join our temple. We are not of this world. We are in this world, but we are not of this world, and we are not for this world, and we don't want to stay in this world, but we do service in this world while we are here. So this is the mood which we can have to establish a Krishna conscious center in the Western world, always connected to Vrindavan, to Mayapur, to Puri, to the great devotees, and establishing replicas of Vrindavan, Mayapur, in our farms, in our different settings where we are. Even in your temple, you have pictures of all the representing, so that as you go around in your temple, you change your japa, you go, oh, now I'm in Mayapur, now I'm in Puri, now I'm in Vrindavan, now I'm Karoli. So like this is a bit the spirit of it, of parikrama. I hope you can establish that spirit happily in your temple, and you will see that it will be very favorable. And physically, you can organize, if you have the chance, tours to India with your people. You will see many people are interested to go and take a tour to the original holy place of Vrindavan, Mayapur. And then that is what Srila Prabhupada did in Grand style. I was inside the jumbo jet, which went to India, filled with devotees. An entire jumbo jet came from America, stopped in London, filled up in London with more, and then we went directly to Calcutta to start the Gaur Mandal Parikrama of Srila Prabhupada. 1976 was that. And inside of the jumbo jet, the devotees started the kirtan and jumping inside the airplane. Then the stewardess came, please don't jump so high, please. We are in the air, we don't know the airplane, you know. Maybe we sing sitting. But it was ecstasy. And then a jumbo jet that had 350 people, I think, or more, who were there. Entire Krishna devotee jumbo jet from the world coming to Mayapur. Can you imagine how the people in Calcutta, they couldn't believe. And there was the first time a jumbo jet landed in Calcutta. So the citizen came out, the mayor came out, the jumbo jet is coming here, and then all Hare Krishna coming out there. They could not believe it. No, what is this? What is going on? You know, a jumbo jet full of Hare Krishna has arrived here to go to Mayapur. At that time in Mayapur, there was no space. The devotees had to cramp into the wall of the ISKCON property, and I don't know, the people were sleeping everywhere, you know. So sometimes the devotional program and this is also, parikrama is a good austerity training. You have to learn how to tolerate, how to live close together with others, to share, and it is also a very helpful process. So parikramas, big festivals, they are all meant for making the seed of devotion grow in the heart, and the fire of enthusiasm become very, very strong, so that we want to go on and spread Krishna consciousness. Because one temple you open today, it means 2 tomorrow, 10 after, and then the devotees from your temples will again go and distribute this message